101.9.
Blah 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 blah.
Blah, 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 blah. Are you kidding me, man? Oh, quarter after the hour with Bolly rebroadcast of today's show at 10:03 a.m. Don't forget, when you have a car that you're looking at and you need some kind of assessment on the condition of the car, the best thing to call, or the best guy to call, is Matt Thorson at Mad Muscle Garage for all of your collector car services, including appraisal, consignment, inspections, restoration, repair, speed shop, and I like this part, expert witness. Okay, that's good. Classic cars, and you know what? They're located at 1024 Creekview Lane in Belle Plaine. Now, when you need some services from Matt Thorson, give him a call. 952-220-2993. That number, once again, for Matt Thorson is 952-2993. And as promised, I've got the guru of Speedy and Spit. I've got Brian Warhol on. Good morning, pal.
Good morning.
Man, what are we reporting today? There's so much activity in the car cruise.
Oh, man. That's what I was going to start out with. With this weekend now, where they're talking highs in the 70s, I think things are really going to start to pop in the Twin Cities.
What do you think? I mean, there's a lot of activity out there, a lot of enthusiasm. The vibe is high. Not only that, like you just mentioned, the temperatures are going to be great. Where should we start?
Well, I want to talk about some of these pop-up shows that are happening, and I think we're going to see more and more of those. And you attended that one last Sunday out in Coon Rapids. I think that the first I saw anything of that online was on Thursday, that it popped up saying, hey, we're going to have this car meet at the Park and Ride in Coon Rapids on Sunday afternoon. And last I looked, it said that there was like 600 cars that attended that thing. And I know you went to it and walked around and did some filming.
You couldn't get any more cars into that Park and Ride. Trust me. I was at the entrance of this thing, and people were just coming, and it was a blast. And I decided, you know what, at capacity, I'm leaving. And apparently it was a good decision because the police department showed up, and I wasn't there to quote anybody in regards to what happened, but it was a great event. It was quick. It was a pop-up, like you said. And the beauty about it is that people were there and the vibe was there. The great thing about it was a good mix of cars, trucks, motorcycles. I had a blast. I mean, what else are you seeing out there with pop-ups?
Well, then there was another one that happened last Sunday out at the El Loro in Bloomington, and it said it started out to be a photo shoot of some exotic cars, and it ended up having 400 cars of all types show up in the lot. But somebody had posted on that one, and that's one of the things I'm afraid of with some of these things is that I don't know if they're getting the proper permission to do these. Now, that I don't believe that you could have that event at that Park and Ride without getting someone's permission. And also someone had posted on Facebook that at El Loro last week, they said, did anybody think about talking to the city of Bloomington before doing that? Because if you have an event that size, Bloomington needs to know about it. And I just want to be sure that, with all these things happening, that people are getting the proper approvals. Otherwise, I would think that the cities and the police are going to start to really crack down on a lot of these events.
You think it'll start embarrassing a lot of the people that are doing this, or they're just saying, you know what, screw it, we're just doing it anyway?
I think the latter. Yeah, they're just screw it, we're going to do it anyways.
I think they've given up. They said, oh man, you know what? There's there's more. It's better if we just, call a pop-up, and if it happened to happen, if it doesn't, well, c'est la vie, done,
Right. But there you're involving that one in Coon Rapids. You're involving the Coon Rapids police that are already on notice, the city of Coon Rapids, with the cruise that happened. That I don't want that, something like that to, affect that cruise.
And absolutely right. I wasn't thinking about that, but the great thing about it is, Keith Stevens actually has his, his finger on the pulse of that event. And as you saw when we were out there, doing a remote broadcast, it was okay. You would hear of some things that that occurred during the cruise, but I think that's normal, don't you?
Oh, I would think so. I mean, it's some of those cars. It's hard, if you get running 1,000 horsepower, it's hard to keep them quiet and slow.
Yeah, right. And talking about cars, I mean, there's more than cars. I saw army vehicles. There was a tractor out there. You remember this tractor?
That was that. Yeah, when we were there that day, there was that V8 tractor that had open headers on it.
And you know what? Show me where the safety belt was on the tractor.
Yeah, I didn't look. Maybe he had one. I didn't notice. I wasn't looking at that, I guess.
I'm going to have to review that tape. Anyway, with Keith Steffens over there, I mean, we're talking about trash. I mean, we're talking about, a range of things that he has to go through. There's a lot of hoops. It's not easy to do something like this. I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, that's true. And I know I watched yesterday the video that he posted saying, hey, we're starting the cruise this Saturday. There's just a few things that, we need to talk about. And I thought that was really good that he had put that out there saying, basically don't be stupid.
Yeah.
Don't park where it says no parking. Don't park in a merchant's lot, a business lot, if it says parking for customers only, things like that. Just like he says, hey, just common sense.
And the beauty about this guy, he is on top of it, man. I'm sure he wants to continue, for the next couple of years. Let's see how it goes with the opening on Saturday. I think they're not going to be on high alert, but there's going to be. I have to assume there's going to be law and order. What do you think?
Oh, I would think so. I think they'll set the tone right away on the first one. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. So fast forward. What else are we talking about?
Well, starting this Saturday, El Loro in Bloomington is going to start their. They weren't going to start their official dates till the end of April, but with the nice forecast, for the nice weather, Dave Kemke said, "Hey, let's put something together for Saturday." So they're open to start having their car show or cruise in or car meetup, whatever you want to call it, this Saturday out at El Loro in Bloomington.
And for all of our listeners out there, El Loro Mexican Grill and Cantina is located at 5001 American Boulevard West in Bloomington. That zip code is 55437. Whoever's interested in going there. There is a phone number, but I don't think I'm going to give the phone number out for the cantina. However, if you'd like further information, you can simply go to, and this is a really cool site. It's the Southern Metro Car Cruise Group. There you go. And
I think it's on a lot of them. I think it's also on the Twin Cities Car Cruising Group too. So
they can go to a variety of places if you'd like to gather further information about it. And the DJ that out there, what's the name of his company?
I don't know what the name of it is.
Cartoons or something like that. Well, anyway, Dave Kemke is actually the DJ out there, and you can find him on Facebook as well. David Kemke, Kempkes. All right, El Loro. That's a great show. Have you been to that one yet?
I have not. And what's funny about that is that one started as the Lindale Avenue Cruise in Bloomington, and it's turned into not so much a cruise now, but just a car gathering every week.
Well, I'll tell you what, when they had the cruise, I think it was a car gathering, if you ask me, because, people were not cruising, especially when the chairs come out. Wait a minute.
Exactly.
Wait a minute. But it's an exciting show. I really enjoyed that show. There's a lot of cars that you and I have not seen. that kind of surface, at the last minute, like the pedal car. I mean, there's so many things that show up at many of the cars that I have now seen. But the beauty about it is that El Loro will continue, and it starts up this Saturday.
Right, exactly.
What else you got?
Well, I wanted to just talk in closing here a little bit about the organization and the gentleman that we had coffee with on Monday, the Minnesota Car Club Association. I just wanted to cover the status of that organization. For a lot of people out there, for 50 years, there was this organization called the Minnesota Car Club Association that met every February, and it was a group of car clubs throughout the state that got together, shared their flyers for their upcoming car shows, and we put together a calendar. Everybody would get up and speak, about their show that was coming up. And it was just a great gathering for people to collect flyers of all the car shows that were coming up. And then they would put out a booklet listing the schedule of all the shows, as well as all the car club contacts that were members of this organization. Well, last year it ceased to exist. So they canceled it about a month before the meeting in February. So that's when we stepped up, Speedy and Spit, and hosted the car show flyer exchange event, because we knew that there were a lot of car clubs that were counting on having that meeting and already had their flyers printed up to hand out at that event. So we put that event together kind of on a last minute thing, on, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks notice, and got a lot of those clubs to come and share their flyers. I think we had about 100 flyers at that event of, people that showed up. Well, since then, a gentleman has stepped forward and said that he would take over that organization. His name is Mike Philippi, and he lives in Crystal, and he has stepped forward. He's retired, and he has stepped forward and says he's going to take that organization over. So it will be back again in 2022. There will be a meeting probably in February again for all the clubs to get together. And he has done a mailing to everyone that is a current member to let them know that the club is back, that he's going to put a book out. He wants people to join it and get their flyers and information to him by, I think it's the middle of April. So we only got a couple of weeks. And he wants to get that publication out around the 1st of May. And an improvement from what it had been in the past is he's also going to be putting all the shows and all the club contacts online. So if you're online, it'd be easier to look that up than getting that booklet in the mail. And then for those that don't have computer access or are not computer savvy, they can still get that hard copy booklet in the mail.
And, any information about how our listeners might be able to get in touch with Mike in regards to some of this?
Sure. You can get a hold of him at Mike, Phillippi. He's the president of the Minnesota Car Club Association, MCCA. His phone number is 612-274-3258. And the email is mncarclubassociation@yahoo.com.
The great thing about our, discussion with this guy is not only was he a forward thinker in regards to putting this into the digital stage, because that is so important. When you have Facebook, when you have Twitter, you have social media out there, you really have to kind of take another step towards it. But his vision on what could happen between now and the end of the year, he also discussed something very exciting. I thought was unique in its in its form now, but I think there's a lot of components, a lot of moving parts that he has to go through. Would you want to share a little bit about the September event that he's thinking about doing?
I would say we probably shouldn't at this point, until he starts to put some information out there once things are finalized. But I would say that it's something that has not been done in this area before.
It's very exciting. I think the buzz is going to be created very quickly, and it goes. If you have if you need information about this event that he is planning, sometime in September, simply email him. If he wants to divulge information to you, he will. But I think it's encouraging for the types of events that he has planned coming up. Anything else for today, buddy?
I think that's it for now.
Man.
As we get further into it, we'll talk more and more about, car shows that are coming up, as we're seeing more and more of them are starting to be posted online. So that's a really good sign.
Absolutely. So I'll see you tomorrow at 8:15 a.m.
All right. To see what Speedy's got on the jukebox.
There you go. Thank you. Awesome. Nicely done. Brian Warhol from Speedy and Spit. When you need further information about, simply go to his Facebook page as well. Brian Warhol, Warhol. And you can see what we are doing also with Speedy and Spit. We've got some other cool events that we're looking at participating in as well. You're listening to Paulie. I'll be right back after the short pause for more